And a good evening, everyone, or good morning, depending on what part of the world you're in. I see we have some people from Australia that have decided to watch and join us, so I'm delighted to have Down Under with us. So I think it's in the early part of the afternoon for you all on the next day. For most of us, though, it's getting to be a little late in the evening, and I'd like to thank all of my panel guests for being here on a late night, on a Saturday night. I'm Sol, the host for your show, and tonight I am going to invite you to put a cost. We're going to get concrete about what does it cost us in time and in money when we do these things like doubt, guilt, shame, and worry. In our 12-month program, we set up some guidelines. We set up some ground rules. It's kind of like having the lifeguard sitting up there and watching the pool. We set up our lifeguard by our ground rules, and we talk about what role does doubt, guilt, shame, and worry have in our journey. So tonight you're going to get a really good feel of what a class would be like. And tonight we're very fortunate to have a couple of our team captains actually with us. We have Julia Colon and Marcia Sortino with us, and so they're going to talk a little bit also tonight about when you join their teams, when you sign up to their teams. They've got some specials cooked up for you as well. So as we get into this, if it's helpful, we have some links to the spreadsheets here in the invite for tonight's show. And before we get into that spreadsheet about calculating doubt, guilt, shame, and worry, I'd like to welcome our panelists to the guest. So one by one, if you'll unmute and just share briefly who you are, where you're calling in from, and we'll get our ball of wax rolling. We'll start with Julia. She's looking at me like, oh, God, don't pick me first. No, don't pick me first. And I did.
Well, my name is Julia Colon, and I am the owner of morethanjustcosmeticsblog.com. And I am also a team captain for Pay Me What I'm Worth. And I'm very, very excited to be here and to share this journey with all of you and to hear your stories. And I'm very excited to once again have you on board.
Mahalo. You're calling in from the East Coast, if I recall. Yeah, Julia?
Yes, I'm from New York.
Wonderful. All right, for the moment, why don't you mute? Kareem, you're next. How about just a quick introduction and also what you're looking forward to in tonight's journey. Go ahead and unmute yourself, and then we'll get to Chris as soon as you're done.
Can you hear me, Sol?
I can hear you just fine, Kareem.
Cool. Yeah, hi, I'm Kareem. I'm calling in from Latrobe, Pennsylvania, small town in PA. And I'm looking forward to seeing what we're doing here with the teams and seeing more about the program. And I'm going to be on Marcia Sortino's team hopefully soon.
Well, thank you, Kareem. Thank you much, Chris. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and then when you're done introductions, go ahead and mute yourself, and we'll jump over to Marcia.
Hello, I'm Chris Peters. I'm originally from Oslo, Norway, but I moved to Brandon when I was 15 years old. I'm 34 years young, and I'm very grateful for my mentor, Marcia Sortino. And Marcia, I did credit you a lot today on the Hangout for giving us the idea for the Entrepreneur Power Hour, and I look forward to learning from you and Mr. Soul Dancer here, so I'm thrilled to be here, and thanks, guys.
Wonderful. Thanks, Chris. Go ahead and mute out. Marcia, let's see how your connection's working tonight. Go ahead and unmute and give us a quick intro.
Oh, come on.
It works. We can hear you.
Awesome. Okay. Well, my name is Marcia Sortino. I'm currently living in Boston, Massachusetts right now. And I'm actually on this journey to discover myself, discover who I am, discover what I want to do, and I just am in my discovery mode all the time now. So I'm loving this part of my journey. And I hope you folks that are out there watching us can get a lot of your questions answered tonight. So back to you, Sol.
Wonderful. Thank you, Marcia. Go ahead and mute yourself. Folks, for watching this on demand, I highly encourage you to just to leave a comment in the comment box below. We're kind of checking those all the time to see what questions are out there. The primary goal of Pay Me What I'm Worth, in a nutshell, is for you to answer two ancient questions. Who am I, and what am I here to do? Now, you might think that the book titled Pay Me What I'm Worth is all about getting a raise. You'll get a raise as you do the exercises in the book. That's not our focus on just getting you a raise. Our focus is primarily to help you resolve doubt, guilt, shame, and worry. When you pay attention to powerful leaders, you really watch what they do. You study how they interact with people. You're going to notice it's very unlikely that they have much doubt, guilt, shame, and worry going on in their life. On top of that, the really good masters, they're very mindful that they are keeping that in check, meaning I'm mindful with you that when I'm working with you, if I somehow trigger one of those feelings with you, it's not my intention to trigger doubt, guilt, shame, and worry. At the same time, though, I have no desire to control how you think or how you feel. And part of our ground rules with Pay Me What I'm Worth, when we take this 12-month journey, is that 100% ownership of our feelings and of our thoughts. And Julia, I'm curious, when we started getting into the ground rules on our first month into setting the stage for your journey, you're now on month number 4 of 12 months journeying. In our first month, Julia, you had to grapple with where you were at with doubt, guilt, shame, and worry, didn't you?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Just briefly, what happened as you started reading those ground rules?
The ground rules, when I was reading them, if I could, because we're on chapter 4 now. The ground rules were basically, from what I remember, was being committed to the program, being committed to yourself. That was number 1. And I remember the ground rules saying the importance of the exercises. If you really, it says it in the book, if you really want to make a difference, the exercises are very, very important. And once I read that, that really struck with me, because I really did want to make a difference in my life. And so I made an effort, very, very hard effort, to make sure that I was completing those exercises and I wasn't missing anything. Usually, if I did skip an exercise, I didn't understand it because I didn't do the previous one. So I had to go back and do it. And it's really great because I'm able to go back now to my previous exercises to help me currently.
And do you recall what we talked about in the very first ground rules setting the stage about doubt, guilt, shame, and worry? Do you remember what we talked about during that time?
Yes, I remember you saying that if we had $1 trillion to give, we should give $1 trillion every time we felt doubt, guilt, or shame. And since I don't have $1 trillion, doubt, guilt, and shame does not play a role in my life.
Can't afford it, can you? And so when you started giving yourself permission to toss overboard doubt, guilt, shame, and worry, how has that changed your journey as we've gone through these exercises?
This made me a much stronger individual. Okay. In a sense that I am respectful of myself and of my wishes, and I am respectful to my purpose and to my dreams. And I don't feel bad if I have to turn, an opportunity down. In the past, I felt as if, I had to do it because I didn't want to, hurt the person or, somehow think that the friendship or the relationship would end, or even sometimes feel like I needed them, and in the process I need myself, I need me. And exactly. So the doubt, that guilt was eliminated from my life.
Yes. Yes. All right. I'm going to switch over to Marcia really quickly. Thank you, Julia. Go ahead and mute yourself here. Marcia, as you unmute yourself, do you remember some of the feelings you had when you read that whole thing about no room for doubt, guilt, shame, and worry? Do you recall an initial gut level feeling of any kind? It looks like you accidentally muted yourself again. So there we go. Now you're unmuted. Go for it.
Okay. I suspend judgment to make a judgment about things. I remember also reading that I should suspend the desire to want to condemn myself for things. And I remember the main focus I had at that point was worry. Because I was in a situation where I was about to cross a bridge for myself. I mean, I was going to change everything, and that I did have some concerns and some worries about how I'm going to go about it. And when I read in your book that that if I would just, stop worrying and tell myself that when that happens to me, when I need to focus on that particular moment, when I have to deal with something, that I will be able to deal with it. I will cross that bridge when I need to cross the bridge, but because I had made that decision, I found myself concerned about what am I going to say to these people? How are they going to feel? And what reaction am I going to get from them? And it was, honestly, when I read to become worry-free and just cross the bridge when it comes, it really did lift a lot of the tension. I just decided, yep, that's what I'm going to do. I will cross the bridge when it comes, and I'll be just fine.
So all of a sudden now you're recognizing that the time you were spent worrying, you can now focus on other things. You've got some more time back, didn't you, Marcia?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
So we're going to now dive in, and I'm going to bring in Chris and Kareem here shortly. But before I do that, I want to switch over there. I'm going to see if I can do this properly here. I'm going to do a screen share. My goal in tonight's hangout is to quantify something that seems to be kind of tricky to actually quantify. There are some spreadsheets that I've created, and these spreadsheets are designed to help you get a handle on doubt, guilt, shame, and worry. Now, to simplify things a little bit, I'm going to marry doubt with worry, and I'm going to marry guilt with shame. And so for those who are watching this video, you'll see, I'm hoping you're seeing here a picture of the spreadsheets. The spreadsheets can actually be downloaded via a couple of links that are here in the event show notes. You can actually go out to bit.ly.com and download these Excel spreadsheets. But I'm just going to very quickly run through this spreadsheet, and for those who have it open on your laptop or desktops, basically, when it comes to doubt and worry, when it comes to costs, get out your checkbook. Look at your checkbook. What are you spending right now on insurances of all kinds? And when you plug that number in, let's say I'm spending $100 a month on insurances. When I plug that number in on the spreadsheet, it's going to calculate it instantly how much it's going to cost me for the year. Same thing with medications, all type. We take medications because we worry about our health. We worry about something that's going to happen to us, right? When it comes to the legal aspects of things, POAs is power of attorneys. Now, you may not be doing this annually or monthly, but at some point in time, I would assume you've had some legal costs related to doubt or worry. What were they? Just plug that in underneath the annual column. And when it comes to doubt and worry with health, As far as I'm concerned, if you're paying for a gym membership or you've bought some equipment to work out on or something like that, you're worrying about your health. You doubt whether or not you're going to have good enough health to keep on going. And with the emotional, professional subscriptions, all of these things, again, this is just a way to get a handle. What is doubt and worry actually costing me in money? And when it comes to security, quite frankly, security is all about doubt and security is all about worry. Every lock on every door, every password, every protection alarm system, every lock you bought, all of that, that's all about worrying about losing something. I'm going through this pretty quick because I want to get to our panel here as quickly as I can. And I'll take questions on this as soon as I get through the whole worksheet. But basically, when we switch over to the guilt and shame side, this seems to be a little more nebulous, so let me describe each of the line items. When it comes to guilt and shame, the first item is what I call bribes. Bribes. Oh, God, I forgot someone's birthday. Oh, heavens, I insulted someone. Or I was late for something, and I might buy a bouquet of flowers, or I might buy something. I'll give them a bribe, and it's basically forgive me. I feel guilty for doing whatever it is that I've done. If you want to look at your checkbook, look at how much you're spending every month for kind of making up for something that you felt guilty about or you felt shameful about, plug that amount in there in the month column. The keeping up appearances, oh boy, here we go. How much money do you spend on when you're out shopping, ladies? You see a dress that's $50 and then you see a dress that's $300. Then you're going to a swanky event where you think you're going to be judged quite a bit and you don't want to feel ashamed of yourself. So even though you could easily afford the $50 dress, you buy the $300 dress to keep up appearances. Keeping up appearances is anything you're doing to keep up with other people. Keeping up at the cost of feeling a shameful sense of self, low sense of self-esteem. Pampering. Oh, I've had such a horrific week. I'm going to go out and blow money on something. How much are you really blowing because you feel guilty in some way that you haven't taken care of yourself, or maybe you feel guilty you haven't taken care of your partner, your kids. I know a number of parents, they go out to that Toys R Us store because they feel so guilty because they haven't had enough time with their kids. They feel ashamed that they haven't had time with their kids, so they go out and they buy things for their kids to pamper them. Expensive splurges. I've worked my butt off. I don't care if I'm going to go into debt. I don't care that I'm going to spend $10,000 on a vacation that I probably really shouldn't spend it on. Peer pressure, I think that speaks for itself. When you got friends, again, this is somewhat like keeping up appearances, but peer pressure is actually more towards like the holiday thing. Meaning you buy your boss a bigger, better gift because you don't want to be ashamed of the gift that somebody else is getting. You feel the peer pressure that you should buy your mom or your dad or whomever it is because your other brothers or sisters have done something, and you don't want to feel shame about that or guilt about that. When it comes to age, ability, cultural aspects, spiritual aspects, wow. Guilt and shame, let's face it, especially for women, I'm sorry, but the amount of money spent on cosmetics, I wonder what the ratio of expenses on cosmetics is as you age. How much more money are you spending on those items to help mask your aging because you feel ashamed, low self-esteem? Do you spend more money because you feel guilty that I'm a white person and I better spend more money on some other culture because I'm supposedly privileged? I'm a white man. I don't feel privileged at all, actually, but I sometimes feel ashamed that I have so much that I want to give that at the moment I don't have enough to give that. So I begin to calculate in this process all of the different things that I am spending, and by doing so, I can get a better handle on my guilt, shame, doubt, and worry spending. So at this point, I want to open up the question. I'm going to stop screen sharing for the moment. I blew through that first half of the worksheet just pretty quickly there. Let's start talking and dissecting that worksheet. What are some of the questions and thoughts you initially are having? about doubt, guilt, shame, and worry and quantifying it with this spreadsheet. You'll have to remember to unmute yourself to ask your question. Looks like we got Kareem chiming in. Go for it.
Okay, does it have to be a question or can it be a statement?
Statement, questions, thoughts, what do you got?
Okay. I watch Abraham Hicks every day at work. I think it's one of the only things that keeps me going at work. And one interesting thing is a lot of people will focus on something they're ashamed of, something they're guilty of. I didn't do enough of this, or something it all comes down to fear to me. Something they fear, if I don't do A, B, and C, this will happen. And then it happens and they kind of feed a self-fulfilling prophecy, where as if you focus on something you're grateful for, something you did well, something that you're happy about, you get more of that. So
okay,
I'm not
bring it home. Kareem, bring it home. This is about you. This isn't about conjecturizing. This is about you. Bring it home.
So when I feel grateful, when I feel good, when I feel good emotions, generally I get more of that. When I feel guilt, shame, fear, and doubt, however you want to couple them, when I feel negative emotions, I get more of that. And I think it's actually a simple thing to see if you just try it and do it. It's not actually that hard. So
Totally
just focus
agree.
on positive, and you get more positive. Hey, there you go.
All right. Thank you, Kareem. Folks, when we do these hangouts, you're going to notice one of my styles is, and especially as we get into class, Julia, do you want to comment about my whole thing about I statements and keeping the mirror focused on the person speaking?
Yes, I always used to say, well, I don't say it as much, but I used to say we or you, and I'm kind of like excluding myself. I'm talking about myself, but as if I was a third person, and I would always say we or you, I come to I just grasped it better when I was talking about myself. Because I can't speak on behalf of someone else. I have to speak about what I'm going through, what I'm experiencing. And that has actually helped a lot because it just keeps me focused on me. You know, I'm talking about myself. And, you know, even with the communication with my family, with my husband, you know, with my brother, you know, I always say you know, now I'm talking about this is what I would like, not this is what we should do. You know, this is what I would like. And I get more of a receptive answer or discussion when I'm talking about I.
Thank you.
It's more of an if you know, it's more of an authoritative figure when you talk about what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Julia. Chris, I'm curious, when you hear someone pontificating, conjecturizing, well, according to so-and-so and such, in the journal of so-and-so and such, or the website of such and such, they postulate such and so-and-so, do you listen or do you tune out?
You know, a lot of the things you just outlined in that spreadsheet, I don't apply to me because I don't really worry about that kind of stuff. I think being an individual the way I am has made me very strong in not really caring about that kind of stuff because I am who I am and I don't make any apologies for that.
Excellent.
And
so my original question, though, one of the things I want to try to get across tonight as we set the stage is as we go from the intellectual, the head space, to the heart space.
The heart space. I think for me, you know, I don't like people who postulate or who glorify. I want to hear what they have to say about their life. I don't really care about somebody they look up to or admire. I want to know what they feel about something if I'm talking with somebody or if I'm trying to relate musically to somebody, which is where I'm very, very into music. So I think music to me is like my kind of like my second sense of self, and so I use music a lot to. It's almost like I use music as a way of really expressing myself, and it's another language, it's another way of being, it's an entity, and I think that through sound I'm able to interpret things in different ways that other people may not be able to, and it's made me strong to the point where I just don't worry about that kind of stuff, right? And I feel good about being myself. I feel good about who I am, even though some people think I could be too raw, or that I might speak with foul language at times. Yeah, I do swear, but whatever. I don't really worry about that. I mean, that's the way it is, and there's going to be people who will like me no matter what, and people who don't because of those trivial things. So I just don't really care.
So, folks, I'm going to warn you, with Kareem and Chris on Marsha's team, as you join Marsha's team, get ready for Chris. He's going to speak his mind, and we're going to be doing a lot of practicing about releasing all that doubt, guilt, worry, and shame. If Chris triggered doubt in you, if Chris triggered shame in you by something he said, you got to own it yourself, right, Chris? Didn't intend to do that.
That's right. That's right. And that's what I want to teach people through our show and through your program is, if you do something malicious and that's intentionally to hurt another person, okay, yes, you are at fault. But if you're just being yourself and someone gets offended, that's not your fault.
Well played.
It's how someone interprets you is entirely their decision.
Well,
and they could be either accepting that this is how you think, or they're going to be like, well, and let them try and vampirize you psychically. Just tell them to, you know what, I'm not going to feel bad and let you vampirize me with your BS,
Right.
So, and I'm looking for strong-minded people because I'm a strong-minded person. And
Excellent. I want to make sure that we keep things rolling. We're already
sorry.
Sorry to cut you off there.
No,
folks,
I could go on about that forever, so that's good.
Marsha. All right. Chris, as you mute out, Marsha, unmute yourself. And then, Marsha, as we were going through that worksheet, I swear, I could feel you getting out your pocket calculator.
How did you know? Oh my goodness. Well, you know the point I'm at financially, so I'm going to get out my pocket calculator. But when it comes to I'm in my 4th month now, and I'm so enjoying this journey. I just put all that on the back burner. Doubt, guilt, shame. It has no place for me right now. Time is precious for me right now. That's what I have, time and my good memories. Coming to Boston and leaving everything back in Hawaii, hey, I'm starting again. So time is precious to me.
Good segue into the time part of this. Let me get through the rest of that worksheet. The second half is just quite simple. I invite you to take out a sheet of paper, write the word, fold it in half and then fold it in half so that you've got, the 4 panes that you got there, like a window with 4 panes of glass. And in each section, write doubt, 1 per section, doubt, guilt, shame, or worry. Just carry that piece of paper around you with you, and when you catch yourself during the day, you just go, you know what, I'm worrying, put a tick mark. You know what, I'm doubting something, put a tick mark. You know what, I felt so ashamed, put a tick mark. Just put a tick mark. Keep track, just if you can, keep track of how often you're feeling those feelings. And then at the end of the day, it's up to you to kind of figure out, all right, what did that add up to? 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 4, whatever it is, but you can plug that number into the worksheet. And my goal here is, by quantifying something that's kind of nebulous, it's like air. I know air's here because I'm breathing it, and if air weren't here, I'd be a really boring hangout. Doubt, guilt, shame, and worry are slippery. We may not always catch each ourselves with it. And by catching ourselves with that sheet of time, because time is so important, what I've noticed in my life, now that I no longer use my brain CPU time thinking, oh God, now if I say this to this person, they'll probably say it to this person, so I better not say it to that person because then this is going to happen. But if I buy that gift for this person, it's more expensive than that person. And then if I show up in this suit, the amount of brain CPU time that I have regained by letting go of doubt, guilt, shame, and worry has let me focus on what it is I want to do. And that is this. Helping you release doubt, guilt, shame, and worry. So before we segue on, other questions before we get into some discussion around, Marcia, Julia, I want you to begin to really help our viewers understand where you were and where you are now in 4 months on those 4 items. When you started the program, where were you with doubt, guilt, shame, and worry? Give us an example of how much time in your day you were spending doing something, or give us an example of how much money you were spending on buying flowers because you screwed up or something like that. But before we get into that, general questions before we roll. And by the way, folks who are listening in, thank you. We've got a number of live listeners. You can go ahead and just leave us a comment in the live chat. You just hop into the chat part, and you can leave us a live comment there. All right, so let me just do a real quick roll call.
Oh, okay.
Oh, was that Chris? Go for it.
Yeah. How do you set up that live chat thing so that when we're doing our show, people can do that? We don't know how to do that yet.
Wonderful. Let me take that offline, and I'll show that after the show.
Okay. Sure.
But for now, for folks who are on the panel, just mouse over to the left-hand side and click on the very top item, and you can get into group chat, which then everybody in the live panel can see what you're typing.
I've got that open.
Okay. Julia, Kareem,
Yes.
Marcia, any general comments so far?
Do you want us to go ahead and talk about when we first started the program with the guilt that we had?
Before we do that, I just want to make sure that we're catching our breath. We plowed through a lot of material there.
Yeah.
If you have any questions about the worksheet or just general observations about what we've covered.
No, I have no questions about the worksheet.
Okay.
I'm good.
Me neither.
I have
I'll
no
just.
questions.
Wow, crickets. I love it. I've dazzled them all. They're all deer in the headlights. What the hell is he saying? What now?
Oh, I love
So, Marcia, I'm curious. When Christina Irvin, our Team Clarity team lead, when she knocked on your door, how much did it pull back to March, the beginning of March? And what was your relationship with doubt, guilt, shame, and worry? Were you sleeping with them? Were you pretty intimate with them? Were you having some really good sex with one of them? I mean, what was going on?
I would say I wasn't sleeping with guilt or shame, but I'd say I had a few dates with doubt and worry. Yeah, absolutely. I had some doubts in my mind about what I was doing, where I was going, what is going on with my life here, and worry was added on to it because I needed to figure myself out. I needed to figure things out, and I wasn't sure how I was going to figure things out. And then, of course, after being in the 4th month of this book, after reading the first 3 chapters, well, you know, just so much of all that just melted away, which is really a good feeling. Really a good feeling.
Melted because all of a sudden you had focus? Melted all of a sudden because you had a team? What helped melt that?
I think what helped melt all that was the exercises. As I was doing the exercises, I started to get more clarity about doubt, guilt, shame, and worry, and why I need to remove that from my mind so that I can focus on my goals, so that I can have clarity, and so that I can go and discover things without doubt, guilt, shame, and worry.
Now, when you say
So,
exercises, am I pontificating, saying, "Oh, thou Marcia and Julia, thou shalt go out and do X, Y, and Z, and you must consume it without any question because I have spoken"?
no, you just, the exercises somehow you make it so free to be able to think and to actually question ourselves, but at the same time realize that we don't need to be our own judge and critic here. We just need to explore our feelings. So right there really helped, exploring how I felt. And whenever I felt good about something, I just knew it was the right answer for me. I just knew that I was going in the right direction. So coming across all those good aha moments and feelings, as I was exploring, that really helped me to get to the point where I was happy in discovering. And I'm still happy.
You mentioned a key word. You mentioned the pill. You mentioned the knockout punch to doubt, guilt, shame, and worry. It's one word, starts with E. What was that word?
It starts with E, did you say?
Yeah, you said it many times. Exploring.
Exploring,
Marcia,
yes.
Marcia.
I like the word discover.
Oh, discover?
But yes, it is
Explore?
exploring. Yes. Yes.
You know, that cliche of life is the journey, not the destination. God, we've heard that a bazillion times, but there's such power in that, right, Marcia?
Yes. Yes.
Your exploring doesn't give you a whole lot of room for doubt, guilt, shame, and worry, does it?
Oh, no. No. If you're exploring, you will keep your heart and your mind open to things, and
Who you are you talking about again?
I will. When I'm exploring, I will keep my heart and my mind open to things because I know I'm worth it.
I got to be careful with that "I'm worth it" thing. L'Oreal, I could just see a letter coming from corporate. L'Oreal, cease and desist. We own I'm worth it. Oh, God knows.
Yeah, but they're an evil corporation, so who cares what they think?
That's just, folks, that's Chris's view, not mine. Corporations are not evil.
Well, that
I'm a
one
corporation.
is.
Actually, I'm a corporation times 4, so if you want to say that.
You don't sell L'Oreal, though, right?
Not yet. I thought about packaging. What I wanted to do is I wanted to get a hold of somebody at L'Oreal and saying, what would be really awesome is if you would pick out 10 products, actually 33 products, and we will do one exercise per product because I'm worth it. It goes so perfectly with every freaking chapter that I got. But I thought, oh, God, I could just see the contract. It'd be thicker than Sears size catalog. But So let's go right over to Kareem. Kareem, how many times are you having sex with doubt, guilt, shame, and worry?
I don't know. I haven't necessarily met any people by those names.
Yeah.
But I'd say sometimes I personally flirt with them. Sometimes the thoughts will creep in your head sometimes, like, oh, I didn't do so-and-so, or I didn't reach a certain goal, and I'll feel maybe a little bit guilty, maybe a little bit worse, and then it'll snap back in my head that if I keep doing this, I'm going to feel more of this, just like I said before. If I keep feeling more guilt, doubt, shame, worry, any negative emotion, fear, the more I sit there in fear, the more fear comes up, and the more guilt comes up, the more pain comes up. So when I start to feel bad, I just take the thoughts, erase them. If I have to go meditate, if I have to go for a walk, lift weights, whatever it is I have to do to get back on that positive track, that's what I'm going to do. So,
your meditation is you go take a shower after you've had that episode. Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'm glad you're bringing that up because Kareem, have you always been like that? I mean, you're ahead of the curve there. There's so many people that get stuck in that downward spiral and they don't know how to get out.
Well, this is an observation.
Okay.
On a personal level, I looked at people who were living every day with, if this happens, something bad's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. And I would see people I work with, coworkers, parents, friends, family, that would always worry about, oh, if you do this, this bad thing will happen. And so if you go out late and you go out partying late, something bad's going to happen. Or if you go to a foreign country, you're going to get shot. I'm sure you've seen all the would, could, if bad things could happen. And I always looked at the best possible scenario, and generally the best possible scenario happens. So I just took a different perspective, and that put me ahead of the curve because I didn't want to live life scared, and a lot of people live life in fear, which is a waste of time. It doesn't do anything.
Drive all those people who thrive on dramas and traumas. Kareem, anybody who feeds on dramas and traumas, they hate you because you don't buy into it, right?
But dramas and traumas really are a way. Susan Mary said she didn't like my dress. Or somebody says, oh, Kareem said this, or Kareem looked like this, or he wore a T-shirt, or he made a joke.
You don't get hooked, do you?
If you want drama, there's soap operas on TV. I mean, you can watch, if you're into soap operas and you like drama, go watch that. But don't come to me with drama. I have a show to do. I have, this program. I have a band, play guitar.
You got
lift
other
weights.
bandwidth stuff. Yep.
I don't have time to hear somebody complain that somebody made a joke or somebody said something they don't like. Get over it. Folks.
Once again, you're getting a good feel because you've got a third of Marsha's team right here. Chris and Kareem are on Marsha's team, so I'm going to warn you, when you join Marsha's team, if your skin's a little thin, we'll treat you with compassion, but at the same time, you're going to notice they're going to help you toughen up that skin pretty quickly.
I'm going to be like the drill sergeant.
Yeah.
I'll be like the dude from Full Metal Jacket. I'll be that drill sergeant.
Oh, my God. Yikes. Well, we'll tamper.
Awesome movie.
All right. Julia, you've gotten a tougher hide since you've started with us. When you first joined us back in March, let's pole vault back there in March, your skin was kind of thin when it came to doubt, guilt, shame, and worry.
Yeah, it was more, it was all of them, but doubt and worry played a very big part of my life in March when I was fortunate enough to meet you. So, I mean, do you want me to go into my story a little bit, or?
Yeah, just give us an example of, give us a before and after, or I should say a before and current. Before you started this program, you would spend X hours a day worrying or doubting or whatever, and now today you spend X seconds a day.
Yeah.
Maybe none.
Yeah. I spent a good, oh my gosh, how many hours out of the day? I would say maybe, oh God, about 15 hours out of the day just worrying.
Wow.
Yeah. From when I woke up in the morning until I went to sleep at night. It was really bad. I mean, I worried not so much about my job, but I worried about the safety of my daughter because I had her in daycare, and then she went into preschool. And, you know, when I drop her off at 7 o'clock in the morning, you know, if she wasn't with me, I was going to worry. And rushing to get to work, to just thinking, what is she doing at this time? Is she sleeping? Did she eat? You know, just, oh my gosh, it was terrible. And to leave the office running worrying and hoping that I'm going to get there on time to pick her up because I didn't, because, everybody else wants to go home too. So, there were days where, I was a few minutes late and, I'm arguing with the person because, the bus was late, and what do you want me to do? You're going to have to call the MTA, tell them that, you didn't leave on time because Julia got home, she picked up her daughter late, like there's nothing I could do. So I worried about that. I also, I didn't worry about my job as much because I have a very, very supportive husband. And we just, the stress level was just amazing because he, most of the times would get stuck at work. And if I didn't hear from him by 4:30, I was running out the office because I need to pick up my daughter. So everything, I would just drop everything. And I knew I would worry because I knew the next day when I get back to work in the morning, I was going to hear it, or they were going to be on me like white on rice, So between that and then worrying about my daughter and running to pick her up, it was just like I was worrying all the time. So eventually I resigned. I quit. I was done. It was a wrap because I was not going to neglect my daughter and I was not going to neglect my family. It wasn't fair to my husband to see me stressed out the way that I was. And, we deserve better. We're worthy of it. And I believe it. And I left. After 27 years with the company.
And I remember that you were just about to leave as you were joining our program. And folks, when you go out to Pay Radio, bit.ly/pay radio. Again, bit.ly/pay radio. We're not making this up. You can go back and you can listen to Julia in her class. And you can hear Julia in her voice going, holy crap, I gave my notice. You're like, who the hell cares?
It's just amazing because, I realized that, I wasn't the only one going through that process in my job. I wasn't the only one. I had a coworker say, I need my job. And in my mind, I'm going, I need my daughter. She has children also. So it kind of like baffled me. She has 3 children.
Yeah.
So I was like, what? I was like, no, I need my daughter. That's in my mind. I didn't argue with her or anything like that. I didn't make her feel bad about what she said because that's how she felt. But in my mind, I'm saying, I need my daughter. I had another one saying that, I heard someone saying she needs a job because, her husband doesn't make that much money. She's the breadwinner and she has to. Everything was about money and how it surfaced around them, their environment, and how it controlled them.
And how has that shifted now? In just a couple of minutes, because we've only got about 10 minutes left.
Yes.
Julia, now today, if I were to place the person you are today, like right now, and we copy-pasted that back to March, and you sat down with the person who is just about to give her notice and say, you're not going to care about this in 3 weeks, what would the person in March say to the person you are today?
I would think I was crazy. But,
you're telling yourself, right?
Right. This was, it was a risk that I was willing to take because my desire, my want to be with my daughter, to start my own business, to take it to a whole new level, for that to be my focus, for my business to be my job, it was so, I wanted it so bad. And, I felt that, I was it almost like in bondage. I was like the handcuffs, on me, and I wasn't free. And I was willing to take that risk.
You broke them, and you're doing fine.
I broke those chains. I broke them, and I'm so happy I don't look back. So just to make it short for everyone, every day, I'm not lying to you when I tell you that I went to work. I was having anxiety attacks going to my job. anxiety attacks getting to my daughter. I literally thought, I really truly believed that I was going to die on my way somewhere I was going to die, because that's how bad it was. And ever since I left that job, I have not had one anxiety attack at all. At all.
That is awesome. So I would, before we get to Chris, Julia, is it safe to say that the people that need to join your team are these women having anxiety attacks? They need to get on your team now.
Yes. Yes. If you have a home-based business and you want to be with your family, you want the freedom, you want to try this out and you're willing to take that risk, this exercise, this program is going to help you. It's going to help you because it's all about you. Everything else is moved out of the equation. It is all about you.
So those of you who are still in the corporate bond, am I hearing you correctly, Julia, that those who are in the corporate bond who are having the anxiety attacks, when they join your team, they can make a plan to do what you did, and you can give them that piece of paper and go, take this job.
I want them to record it so we can put it on YouTube.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, 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 yes. I love that. I love that.
I'll even help her create a YouTube channel.
Their shows too. Chris, how about a quick plug for your shows and just maybe some observations? You've got the book. Thank you for posting that out on your Google Plus that you've got your book. You're excited. I'm going to warn you, Marcia, I had to ask Chris to kind of pump the brake pedal a little bit. Chris is already getting into chapter 1 and is like, dude, you're going to do plot spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, my relationship with doubt and worry has actually been quite extensive, and I'm currently battling my way through a condition very similar to Julia's, what she had, and mine was based on the fact that for 25 years of my life, 28 years of my life, I didn't really do much. I didn't work a lot of jobs. I was, doing drugs, drinking, hanging out with the wrong people, and I wasn't really releasing my potentiality. And so I guess a lot of it is regret over losing two women. Well, one woman I really loved when I was in my early 20s that I was with for 8 years. Losing her really messed me up for a long time. And I had a lot of regret and guilt from that because I was not very trusting of her, and it went south really fast. And so for a long time I just shut myself off to everything and pretty much everybody. I got so low that I wanted to take my own life on 2 different occasions and almost succeeded. Thank God I didn't, or I wouldn't be here. So, but I always knew in the back of my head that, I could be so much more and do so much more with my life. And I'm glad now that at 34 years old, the momentum is starting to kick in, because I broke free from something I was doing that I thought was going to change my life, and it was just another cookie cutter group of people that all listened to this one person, and we all had to be like this one person or we weren't going to succeed. And to me, that was just, I was like, nope, that can't be right. He's not right all the time. And I felt really segregated there, and it was supposed to be like this great place to grow and learn, and I did grow and learn a lot from there. But he's definitely not someone I want to keep following. And that's why I'm here, and that's why I stuck with Marcia, because Marcia was the one that listened to me when I was extremely depressed in these last couple of years, and been there to kind of just love me like a mom, like a second mom, basically, and I'm very grateful for that. And because I've told her things that I've never told even my own. Well, I've told my mom pretty much, my real mom pretty much everything, but I've told Marcia things that I haven't told pretty much anyone else other than my mom. So it's it's great to have someone like her in my life, and I owe everything to her for this journey. I owe it all to her because she's been such a great mentor, and we butt heads at times, but it's only because I'm so strongly opinionated and going to do what I'm going to do and face the consequences, and I think finally she understands that, and um, but she really has helped me with learning that I can do these things. I can be here. I can be successful in network marketing and as a personal development coach. And that's what I want to do. I want to help people break free from the bonds of society. Because I mean, look at me. I'm obviously not part of society, right? So it fits. It fits very well with my whole mentality. So I'm very happy to be here.
Well, Chris, you've earned your stripes, and
That's
the
right.
gift that you're bringing to Marcia's team is you've been there.
Yeah.
So, and not that you're going to enable someone to stay there.
No.
You're going to say, look, I'm not you. I'm not your life. I can't tell you what to do. But for myself, when I found something similar in my life, blah, blah, and that can be just enough of a gentle tap.
Yeah.
Boom, you've ignited their fuse, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That to me gives me goosebumps.
Yep.
Folks, that to me gives me goosebumps. That's why we do these teams. I'm gonna thank you, Chris. I'm being conscious of time here. I'll end with this story. There is a gentleman, I'm trying to get on one of these hangouts, but he's so freaking shy. He's like, first off, just a phone is already technologically advanced for him. So the whole concept of a hangout is like, oh, God. Needless to say, he's a retired Army boot camp instructor. He told me after going through Pay Me What I'm Worth, he says, Sol, I've lost track of how many thousands of men I've put through boot camp, but I can tell you this much. All of those men I put through boot camp would go through boot camp 10 times before they would even touch this book. You work our asses off. So the fact that you're all dedicated to doing the work is a gift to me that I cherish. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight and sharing your stories. Takeaways. What did we get out of tonight? I kind of blew through a worksheet real quick just to put a little bit of concreteness around doubt, guilt, shame, and worry. Folks listening to this show after the fact, there will be a link that you can download these Excel spreadsheets. And if you don't have Excel, don't worry. Google Docs will help you open up there'll be a Google Doc one there for you. You just need to open it up. Takeaways tonight. Let me start with Marcia. Marcia, you've been doing these hangouts now with us to help fill your class. And you told me that you want to help people get going. You've got Kareem and you've got Chris started in your program so far, and a couple other people are on their way. What do you want to share with people who are thinking about joining your team?
Well, I think one of the things that really intrigued me about this course is if you are in a situation or a position where you really aren't sure about what you want to do in life, you're not sure where you're going, this is the perfect place to find out, because I truly understand that feeling. Truly, truly, I do. And just getting to know the people here in the team that I'm on, Team Clarity, with Christina and Julia and Patty and all these lovely ladies that I've been really getting to know so very well, has really helped me. And I'm so excited to be able to have the chance to, or I should say, be a teacher's aide. I'm going to rely on you to help me with a lot of this, but it's it's a journey that um, it can take, and especially if you're trying to figure out where you fit in, where do you think that you can do from home. This is the perfect place to find out.
All right, Marcia. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Kareem, takeaways. What seemed to pop out for you tonight in our journey together?
One thing that really popped out is that sometimes you internalize your own problems and you think, well, everything's happening to me, and it's not. And then you start to look around the world and see that if people can overcome their adversity, if people can overcome what's going on with them, then it's definitely possible for you. Also, we came to the fact that a lot of people, including myself, I used to, because I grew up in a family of people who were always scared about every potential possible thing going wrong and it never happening. I eventually was able to break out of that mold, and I'm glad I did it. I'd say I did it extensively around 24, 27 now. So I'm glad I did it at maybe a younger age, not as young as I would like, but a younger age. That now, when I wake up, I'm looking forward to what I'm going to do, what I'm going to accomplish, what I'm going to get done. And I'm looking at things from a very, I wouldn't say rosy glasses, but I'm looking from the things as I have an objective, I have something I want to do, and I'm going to find the resources to do that. A good example is I'm going to get the people to Marcia's course so I can get my book and I can start doing this thing. And that's
You got an e-copy, buddy. You got an e-copy. Check that email. We can get you going.
This is true. But
I'm being conscious of time. We're getting about 2 minutes past our usual stop time. But Kareem, what I'm excited about here is you're being proactive. And you would love to invite your family to be proactive with you. Yeah?
Yeah, because my dad's he's a good guy and all, but every time I want to do or engage in something, he gets worried about all the invisible things that aren't going to happen, that never happen. So, and I have friends and people I know that could benefit from this as well.
So Kareem's the torch holder for proactive. I like that. I like that. Thank you, kind sir. All right, Miss Julia, what's your little fortune cookie? We just had our meal. I'm asking you, what does it say in your fortune cookie right now?
Well, my takeaway from this is that as we start off with the experiences of who we are. We start off based on who we are from our experiences. And my takeaway is that during this process, yes, I am fearless now, but I have built such a compassion for others as well. And it even comes out to when I'm talking to someone, and I might not agree with what they're saying, but I do respect what they're saying, and I don't take it personally, and I just thank them very much, and it's just a different side of me now where I have more compassion for others, but still having respect for myself as number one.
Yay! Mahalo, Julia. Thank you, thank you. All right, Chris, I'm afraid we're already 4 minutes past due, so you got a couple minutes before we wrap up. Your takeaway for tonight.
Persistence.
Excellent.
Persistence.
He's going to be tenacious.
Napoleon Hill, baby. Napoleon Hill.
We've got a Rottweiler on our hands here, folks. Chris is going to be the team's Rottweiler. He is going to clamp on. He is not letting go, right?
Not when I got a beautiful woman in the Philippines who I want to build a life with and who's saving money to come here so that she can have a life with me. No, I got to get her into this too, and we're going to, when she gets here and stuff. So, not when I've got all that.
Excellent.
That's
I
right.
can see why you're chomping to get going. So, Marcia, we've got our work cut out. Kareem, we've got our work cut out. We're going to have to get, our goal is to get this, Marcia's group started pretty quick. And Marcia, I think you've got 3 or 4 other people this weekend that are going to be signing up. So thank you for that. Chris, thank you. I'm going to close with my takeaway. I've often used this quote. I'm going to put it in the group chat for people to chew on. Potential. A bridge between. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. Chris, can you click on your mute?
Sorry about that.
No problem.
My air conditioner.
Potential. A bridge. If you think of a bridge is a potential between ask and grasp. Ask and grasp. Julia and Marcia are asking you to grasp a little bit of time and a little bit of attention to go out to their sites. You can go out to just pay411.co. pay411.co. You'll find Julia's picture. You'll find Marcia's picture. Ask them what you need to grasp this program. And as we bridge the ask to grasp, if you think of a ever gently upwardly slanting angle, as we ask for something and we receive it, as I ask for something and I receive it, and I gestate it, I digest it, I level off during that time so that I can integrate it. And then I begin to grasp it. And once I begin to grasp it, I begin to rise again. I become aware of something else that I need to ask for. And this cycle begins again. I receive what I ask for. I then begin to integrate it. And when I become so integrated and I grasp it, I'm like, wow, got it. Now that opens up a whole new set of somethings that I need to ask for. Always cycling. So I thank you for being here. We'll be again tomorrow night. Everybody, thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep the conversation going in the comment box just below, and maybe we'll see you here again tomorrow night.
Oh, thank you so much for having us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Bye, Chris and Kareem.
Bye.